As a crochet pattern designer, I'm used to being in control of the design process, but today I'm going to relinquish some of that control and turn to the power of artificial intelligence to help me design a blanket. I'm sure some of you might be wondering if it's a good idea to rely on AI to help write a crochet pattern, especially considering some of the nonsense crochet patterns that AI has generated in the past. However, today I'm going to be asking ChatGPT a series of questions to guide me through the design process and hopefully create something amazing. For those of you who aren't familiar, ChatGPT is a language model created by OpenAI that can understand and generate human-like text. To give you an understanding of its capabilities, everything I've said in this video so far was written by ChatGPT. So let's get started. I have no idea what's going to happen. I've run through this a few times already with varying results, and I'm just hoping that today it gives us some really good suggestions that will be easy to work with. I'm going to be asking things like what size blanket should I make, what animal should be on the blanket. I'm also going to ask it to generate a color scheme, which is a bit scary, but let's see what happens. I've opened ChatGPT, and the first question I'm going to ask is what size should the blanket be? And hopefully it gives a pretty normal blanket size and nothing too crazy. So it's actually just given me a bunch of information about standard blanket sizes, so I'm going to ask it to select just one of those sizes. I'm really hoping it doesn't choose king size bed. It's saying 50 by 60 inches, which is just a standard throw size, which I'm really happy about. That's the size I usually go for. Very glad we're not doing a king size blanket. I think next I'm gonna ask it to choose a color scheme for the blanket. I'm gonna ask it to select about 6 colors. Ooh, first color is dark teal, like the sound of that. Mustard yellow, okay, coral. Okay, these are interesting colors. Light gray, dark gray, cream. Well, that's what it's naming the colors. I've actually found the names of the colors don't always match up with the hex codes. I'm not gonna look at them properly just yet. I'm gonna ask for an animal to feature on the blanket. I'm actually gonna give it a list of animals that I don't want it to make because I don't want to use anything that I've done previously. Oh, it's taken a long time to select an animal. It's making me nervous. How about a sea turtle? The suggestions are not as bad as they could have been. We've got a throw size blanket of 50 by 60 inches, an interesting color scheme, which we're going to check out in just a moment, and a sea turtle, which I'm happy about. Before, when I was testing it out, it really wanted me to do a panda or a wolf. I kept getting those suggestions, and a wolf I was kind of okay with. I didn't want to do a panda, but this is a sea turtle, wasn't one I got before, so I'm really happy with that. But let's check out this color scheme. It's an interesting one. The blue sort of tealy color is obviously going to be really good for ocean, sea sort of color. The rest of the colors are gonna be difficult to work into a sea turtle. It's definitely gonna have to be more of an abstract, definitely not going for a realistic look with this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and look at some yarn options and start drawing up some designs and see how I can incorporate them into a sea turtle. I've been playing around with a few different ideas. I've got some designs that I do quite like, some that didn't work so well. What I have found is that I'm not using the grey colours at all. I don't think they work that well in the colour palette, so I'm probably not going to use them in the final design. But it's just occurred to me that I can actually ask ChatGPT to describe the design. So I'm going to do that now and see if it comes up with something that we can use. Right, so it has given us a very detailed description. We've got a background, a border, a main design, a wave pattern, and a stripe section. I'm going to ask it to simplify it a little bit. Okay, so it has simplified it a bit. It's still got the wave pattern and the stripe section. The waves should be large and flow in a sweeping motion. Sea turtle, create a section using the opposite end of the blanket from the sweeping motion around the turtle. A bit much. I'm going to go away and see what I can do with that. I've just opened Procreate and I've realised I have a design already that is quite similar to what ChatGPT was describing. So I'm going to make a few changes, change the colours around, turn the turtle so that it is facing more left and see what that looks like. Okay, so that's sort of similar to what ChatGPT was saying. I think the yellow on the fins kind of doesn't look right with the cream background. I don't think it stands out enough, so I'm going to try just playing around with the colours for a bit to see if I can come up with something that I think works well. After playing around a bit more, this is what I've come up with. I've gone for the dark background. I think it just makes a bit more sense. The teal colour looks a lot more like water. And then having the cream colour as the flippers and the head is a nice contrast. And then you've got this really bright, colourful shell, which just sort of really stands out and pops. It has been a while since I filmed anything for this video. I'm really hoping the last clip I filmed was me picking out yarn and showing you what colours I was going to use because I have a box of yarn. But I'm going to open it now and remind myself what I ordered because I don't really remember. So the yarn I've got is Brava worsted, canary, custard, tide pool, coral. The coral isn't as bright as I thought it was going to be, but I actually quite like it. I'm going to make a gauge swatch, and then from the gauge swatch I'll be able to create the chart, and then I'll be able to start the blanket. Swatch is finished. I'm going to go wash it, block it, and make the chart. The chart is done. Now, I'm not going to get started on the blanket today because it is getting a bit late, but tomorrow and the day after, Saturday, we're heading to Middleport Pottery. My partner has a hot sauce business and we're taking part in a market that they're holding. I'm thinking tomorrow is going to be a bit of a quieter day, so I'm going to take my yarn with me and hopefully get started on this project whilst I'm there. The first 38 rows of this pattern are just plain blue, so that should be really easy to do. And if the weather's nice, I might just sneak outside and sit down by the canal. So yeah, I will update you when I'm ready to start the colourwork portion of the blanket. So I know I said I was going to update you when I finished that first chunk of blue, but I got a little bit carried away. I got all the way to row 71, and the reason for that is because I got this new yarn holder I'm going to show you in a minute. I just really wanted to try it out, so I kept going until I got to a section with quite a bit of colourwork. So I just finished this back leg, just got a little bit of the shell here, and the other back leg over here. But this yarn holder has been really good for keeping the yarn from getting tangled. And I've been thinking about trying this out for a while and it is working as I thought it would. So let me just bring the camera over and show you. So this is what I've got. It's a sort of wooden stand and then it's got a bar across the top. And I don't know how well you can see, but there's sort of 3 slots you can put that bar in. It comes out and you slide your bobbins. I bought these bobbins from We Crochet. And you can slide them onto the bar and then it just slots in. I didn't do a very good job of putting this together, so it is, you can probably see it's a bit wobbly. And let me just show you these bobbins really quick. So they come in 3 different sizes. These are the largest size, and as you can see, you just wind your yarn onto it. You can just fold that bit over and it holds the yarn nice and securely so that it doesn't sort of unravel or anything. And actually this yarn holder comes with some pegs. Let me see if I can find them. Yeah, so it comes with these pegs. It's got quite a few and there's different sizes, but what I'm thinking is I should be able to slot them in there, and then the bobbins that I'm not using, I can just pop them on there to store them. So I'm finding this to be really useful so far. I'm going to keep using it and see how well it holds up when I'm using way more bobbins. I think probably I can fit maybe 7 on there at once, but possibly I could use them down here as well. I think they'd have to be sort of in the center for them to turn. But yeah, I might be able to use them down there as well if I need to. But I'm going to keep working on this for now and hopefully get quite a bit done today. I am now almost halfway through the blanket and it feels like a good time to take a little break and do something different. At the beginning of the video I mentioned that I've seen other people have asked ChatGPT to write crochet and knitting patterns with quite amusing outcomes, so I thought I'd give it a go myself. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to write a pattern for a amigurumi turtle and I'm going to make it and I'm going to show you what the outcome is. So I think it's fair to say that AI won't be replacing crochet designers just yet. I finished the turtle. It's interesting. Yeah, not really a turtle, but I will say the pattern was well written. It looked like a crochet pattern. It had all the right terms. It knew how to make a ball and a circle. didn't really know how to turn that into a turtle. And it also told me where to put the safety eyes, what rounds to put it on, to add a mouth. So yeah, it's got the general gist of crochet patterns, but actually building something seems to be a bit tricky for it. And I realised partway through that this was not going to look like a turtle and that I wouldn't want to keep it. So I added catnip to it when I stuffed it, and that's why this little one is around. She's gone. You don't want to play with it. I'm gonna go and see if I can find the other cat because I think she'll like it. I went upstairs and found these two snuggled up together on the bed. I gave Bonsai the toy and she wasn't at all interested. I think Willow was more interested, to be honest. She did come downstairs later on and had a bit of a play with it, but not nearly as much as I thought she would. And Pixel didn't care about it at all. This was still fun to do though, but I'm gonna get back to working on the blanket. I've been working like crazy to get this blanket finished by today. Or not necessarily finished, but at least have the colour work portion done. Let me show you. So you can see I'm very, very nearly done. I think there's 12 rows left. And the reason I want to get the colour work done by today is because we're going away tomorrow. I really want to take it with me, but I definitely don't want to take it with all the bobbins attached. So if I can finish 12 rows today, I'll be able to take it with me and then just do the last block of blue, hopefully in the car ride tomorrow. I've got about an hour and a half. I don't know if that's enough time. I should have some time whilst we're there to work on it, and then obviously I've got to weave in the ends. We're only there for 2 days, but I'm hoping that I can get some pictures of it at the beach because it's a sea turtle. It just makes sense to take photos of it at the beach. So I'm really hoping that I can get it all done, but it's quite ambitious, I think. Like I say, it's only 2 days and hoping to actually do things whilst we're away and not just be sat around crocheting. But, you know, hopefully I can fit that in and I will update you whilst we're there. We've just arrived at the place we're going to be staying. Willow's having a good sniff around. This is the cabin we're staying in. If the weather is nice tomorrow morning, I'm definitely going to be sitting out here and getting some more crocheting done. I did get some done in the car, but I've still got a few more rows to finish. We're going to be heading to the beach in a minute, so I'll catch up with you later. This blanket still isn't done. I really thought it would be by now. I haven't actually worked on it since I last spoke to you. I didn't work on it whilst I was away. I didn't even get any done in the car ride home because I fell asleep. But yeah, I really need to get it done now. I know it's only been like probably 15 minutes for you, but this has been months for me. The very first clip of this video was filmed in March and it's now the middle of August. I keep getting distracted by other things, but I really want this to be done now. So I don't have anything else to work on. I'm just going to get this finished and I'm not going to speak to you again until it's completely done, like ends weaved in, blocked and ready to take photos. The blanket's finished. It only took me 6 months. I'm not going to show you just yet. It's kind of a nice day. I'm going to go out for a walk. There's a nice spot where I take the dog where I can take photos. So I'm going to wait till then to show you. But there's one last thing I need to do. Every good crochet pattern has a name and this is no different. And because it's been designed with the help of ChatGPT, it only seems fair that I ask ChatGPT for some name suggestions. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so it's given me 5 suggestions. You ready? Seaside Serenity Blanket, Turtle Tides Throw, Coral Coast Crochet, lots of alliteration here, Sunset Waves Lapgan, and Golden Turtle Retreat. I think out of those 5, I like Turtle Tides Throw or Seaside Serenity Blanket. I'm gonna have to Google and make sure nobody else has used those names because it might have just picked them somewhere off the internet. But yeah, I'm gonna go between those two. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Seaside Serenity Blanket or Turtle Tides Throw. Within a few days of this video going up, I will be releasing this pattern for free. There'll be a link down in the description for you to download the pattern. I purposefully kept this design quite simple. I know ChatGPT really wanted me to have some waves and a stripe section and a border, but I knew I was going to be releasing this pattern for free, and I wanted it to be accessible for people who haven't done Graphgans before, maybe never done any sort of colorwork project. So yeah, if you're looking to try your first Graphgan project, this one is a good place to start. But with that being said, I'm going to head out and take some photos.